Hey, this is Colin Gibson, and we're going to talk more about some golf equipment, and specifically, should you have matching sets of woods and irons or not? Now, this has come up recently because some of my favorite club fitters over at TXG kind of brought this up in one of their videos about should you have matching woods, or should you have a matching driver and 3-wood and 5-wood and hybrid all from the same manufacturer like Callaway, or should they all be mixed up? Should you have 4 different club heads from 4 different manufacturers and 4 different shafts with different properties? So what the TXG guys were saying is that it's okay to have 4 different club heads and 4 different shafts with different properties as long as you're fitted for them. Okay, so that's great. Okay, but what I think we're missing here with a lot of club fitters is they're really not seeing the forest through the trees, if you will. They're seeing the individual trees. Okay, so it's fine if you have an excellent club fitter fit you for a driver separate from your 3-wood, separate from your 5-wood, separate from your hybrids, separate from your irons. But that's different, and I don't know if that's the best, because yes, you can get to the point where if you swing your 3-wood 50 times in a row, you start to stripe it. That's great, but the only place you do that is in a club fitting or in your own simulator or on the driving range. Okay, that has no correlation to how you're going to play on the golf course. If you're hitting any club in your bag, multiple times, then you're not having a good day on the course, are you? So that doesn't make sense. What you do in golf is you hit one club in your bag, then you pick a different club in your bag and you hit that in consecutive shots. And you have to be able to do that consistently. So if you have let's say you're playing a par 5 and you've got a driver that's a Callaway that's custom fitted by a top 100 club fitter, and you hit it down the middle, and then you have a fairway wood. Let's say you have a 5-wood into the green. That's a different brand and a different shaft, both with different properties, different weights, different characteristics, and you have to swing the driver, then you have to swing the 5-wood, and they're not MOI matched, and the shafts are completely different properties. They're not frequency matched. The clubs don't have sequential club weights. They're just completely different clubs. I'm sure in the fitting with those 2 clubs, you hit the driver awesome after an hour of hitting it. And then you hit the 3-wood awesome after an hour of hitting it. But I guarantee if you don't get your entire bag fit and matched and gapped and MOI matched together, that you're not going to be able to go from club to club to club and hit those straight. I honestly guarantee, if we got Matty from TXG to go through his set, okay, just one at a time and just hit one shot up and down the set, and I guarantee his bag is not MOI matched, okay? His bag is all over the place. And yes, he hits each of those individual clubs very well, but we don't really see him go one shot without any editing up and down his bag, okay? And what would happen if he did that with his mixed bag that he was fit for? And then what would happen if he did that with a perfectly matched MOI set of clubs? It would be astronomical. And then what if we threw in, flowing and spining and all these other things that he doesn't use in his bag? How do you think he would hit those? I mean, it would be way better than he's hitting his bag right now. So getting, a hodgepodge of woods and getting individually fit for them and putting them in the same bag is not a good idea. Okay, it's the same thing with irons. Okay, I've recently seen club fitters take a mixed set of irons. You take some blades up to an 8 iron, and then you take some cavity backs the rest of the way up the set. But neither of those clubs were really made to kind of combo. They call them combo sets. Those clubs weren't made to combo, okay? A set of golf clubs is made by the manufacturer to be played as a set, okay? The weights of the club heads themselves, okay, are sequential up and down the set, okay? So if you play a normal half-inch increment between the lengths of your clubs, you're going to have a similar amount of effort to swing those irons. Okay, so let's say you have a combo set and you switch between an 8 and a 7 iron, okay? And you don't weigh those club heads, you don't MOI match them or anything. You're just going to switch from a 7, an 8 blade to a 7 cavity back. Those clubs are going to be totally different, and they're going to behave totally different, weigh totally different, have totally different swing weights. And that's not a good thing. So just randomly getting fit for individual clubs and then throwing 14 of them in a bag and trying to play a round of golf with them is the worst idea that I've ever heard. And this is what's being pushed by a lot of club fitters. And you just got to think about the science. I mean, just use some common sense. That's not a good idea. Okay? So what I always recommend is that you use matched wood sets and matched iron sets, because the club manufacturer's already done a lot of the work for you. They've already made those sequential weightings so that it's easy for you to get your clubs MOI matched so that they have the same amount of effort to swing throughout the set. Because you're never going to swing the same club twice unless you shank one. We don't even want to swing our putter a bunch of times in a row, do we? We don't want to be hitting the same club a bunch of times in a row. You're always going to be hitting a different club on your next shot. That club needs to have the same amount of effort as the club that you swung before it, okay? Or you're never going to get consistent ball striking, okay? So if you've been fit by TXG for a driver and you're just bombing it, okay, and it's got a D2 swing weight, and then you get fit by TXG for a 3-wood, okay, and the overall weight of the club is completely different. The shaft characteristics are completely different because you were fit for a different type of shaft because the club head weight is completely different. And who knows what the properties of those shafts are? Do they do frequency matching up and down the club? Because no shaft is the same unless you're using matching shafts, which is another good idea. I always preach that your driver shaft can have a little bit more flex to it because you're trying to hit that club as far as humanly possible. But no other club in your bag are you trying to hit as far as humanly possible. Okay, so every other club in your bag should really have a fairly closely frequency matched shaft in it. Okay, and the more brands of shafts that you mix in there, the less likely that those shafts are going to behave the same. You want all your clubs to behave the same so that they're predictable, so that you have good ball striking. Okay, you don't want a hodgepodge mix of individually fit clubs, no matter who fits them for you. So these club fitters are missing the forest through the trees, okay? You're getting fit for 14 separate trees, whereas you should be getting fit for a forest. All of your clubs should behave the same. They should be MOI matched. They should have the same amount of effort to swing so that you can hit them consistently, so your scores can go down. Okay, so some of these club fitters are pushing you in the wrong direction. You're getting worse. You're spending a ton of money getting all these individually fit clubs that don't work together. Okay, so leave me some comments down below. Tell me what you think of this. The science does not add up. Okay, so you can't be, trading a bunch of different clubs with your friends just because you think you hit them better. They're not going to work as a set. It's going to be a mess, and you're going to lose strokes because it is a mess. Okay, so leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you've heard. I'll respond with what I feel is scientific response to why that doesn't work. And honestly, if you've never been fit correctly for a set of matching clubs that are MOI matched with shafts that are frequency matched, of course, fit for all the other aspects that you need to be fit for, launch conditions, we get all that. I'm just saying the equipment itself needs to behave similarly throughout your set. All right, that's all I got for today.